I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers fade as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're starting an exploration into something quite challenging, I think, for many of us. This idea that maybe, just maybe, true growth doesn't actually require pain.
It's a big one, isn't it? We often link progress with struggle. But what if that's a choice we're making, not a requirement?
Exactly, and that's really at the heart of our focus today. We're looking at Review 6 in the course, and specifically Lesson 190.
That's right. And the theme running through this review period is still, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me.
The idea we're zeroing in on today from Lesson 190 is, I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Sounds simple, but wow, it's radical.
It really is. And as always, we genuinely love hearing how these lessons land for you. If you have questions or things you've noticed, please do share them.
Okay, so let's read today's lesson together now. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Lesson 190. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Pain is my own idea. It is not a thought of God, but one I thought apart from him and from his will. His will is joy, and only joy for his beloved Son, and that I choose instead of what I made.
Okay, so this teaching, it really presents a massive shift in how we look at things. It states pretty clearly that pain isn't from God. Just let that sink in for a moment. Pain isn't presented as, part of divine reality or inherent to life. It's something we've come up with, our own idea. That changes how we might approach discomfort.
It absolutely redefines our whole relationship with inner struggle. We tend to weave pain right into our identity, don't we? Whether it's a physical ache or emotional stress or just that little sting of disappointment. We often treat these feelings like they're telling us some deep truth about ourselves. We build these elaborate stories.
We do. This is who I am because I went through this, that kind of thing. And that's the crucial distinction the course is guiding us towards. I know when I first started working with this, I kind of misunderstood. I thought choosing joy meant I had to pretend I wasn't feeling pain or push it away somehow. But the clarity that came later was, well, it's not about denying the feeling itself. It's about refusing to worship it, refusing to let it define God or define who you truly are. The feelings can be there, but they don't have to be the boss.
What a relief that is, though. I've seen this play out in my own mind so many times. Maybe there's a quiet tension after a long day or a bit of anxiety before something important, and immediately the mind wants to craft this detailed explanation. Oh, this feeling is definitely going to get in my way, or why can't I just feel okay right now? But this lesson pulls me back. It reminds me that story, that explanation, that doesn't come from God. It's not the ultimate truth of my being.
And when you consciously decide to just set down that story, even just for a second, the space that opens up, it's really noticeable. Often there's a quiet, subtle sense of joy that was actually there underneath it all, just waiting. It doesn't have to be loud or dramatic.
That was the really surprising part for me when I began this work. That joy doesn't just show up after you've healed something, like it's a prize for getting through the hard part. No, it's somehow already present. It's woven right into the healing process itself. It shows up in those moments you let go of the struggle, stop the self-judgment, and just remember what you are. It's in the willingness.
Yeah, it makes me think of that incredibly powerful line in the course. Pain is the ransom you have gladly paid not to be free. That line still hits me quite profoundly. It's such a stark reminder that our belief in pain, the way we cling to it, it actually serves a purpose for the ego. It might seem like it protects us or explains why things are hard or justifies how we feel, but the price we pay, it's always our inner peace. We trade real freedom for what feels like a reason for our suffering.
And the course is so careful here. It never, ever denies the experience of pain. It's not saying what you feel isn't real on the level of the body or emotions. It's simply saying pain isn't truth, with a capital T. And that distinction is huge. It's like learning to hold the experience lightly. Acknowledge it's there, sure, but don't give it ultimate meaning. Don't make it a statement about your eternal reality or your worth.
Which makes this a skill, right? Something we practice every day, really. And there's so much kindness in this teaching. Permission not to nail it right away, permission to forget. But to keep coming back to the question, what if this pain doesn't actually have to mean anything significant? What if I can let it go without losing myself? What if my identity isn't actually based on this feeling?
Just asking those questions with real willingness, That alone starts to undo the guilt that often gets tangled up with pain. And that's what clears the way back to joy. Not by pretending pain isn't there, but by refusing to use it as a weapon against ourselves. We just stop letting it define us.
It's interesting how, as we go deeper with these ideas, certain phrases from the Course land differently over time. They reveal new layers. For me, recently, it's been this one. Lay down the cruel sword of judgment that you hold against your throat. When I first read that years ago, it sounded so dramatic, almost over the top. But lately, I've become so much more aware of that quiet background hum of self-judgment, just always there. Realizing that has shown me how much freedom there is in just dropping the sword, recognizing it for what it is. It's incredibly liberating.
Oh, I feel that. For me, it's that line we were just talking about. Pain is the ransom you have gladly paid not to be free. At first, that felt a bit like an accusation, like it was blaming me for feeling bad. But now I hear it completely differently. It sounds like the Course is saying, hey, you don't have to keep paying this. You can just stop. The realization isn't that you have to start paying, but that you can, because the freedom was always there. The chains were just thoughts.
That connects really well to a listener question we received. It touches on another really important angle of today's lesson. The listener asks, I've started to recognize that a lot of my pain is tied up in self-judgment. But part of me thinks that without that judgment, I won't change or grow. If I stop using pain to push myself, won't I just stagnate?
Yes. It gets right to a huge misconception so many of us carry around, this idea that pain is what motivates us to grow, that we need to feel bad enough to actually change things. We're almost conditioned to think that discomfort is the only real engine for progress.
And the Course offers a totally different view. It says growth doesn't come from pain, not fundamentally. It comes from remembering the truth about yourself, realigning with who you really are. Judgment, the Course suggests, doesn't actually fuel growth. It just keeps us spinning in ego cycles, trying to fix a self that wasn't actually broken to begin with. What the Course points to is that joy, even quiet, subtle joy, is actually a much more powerful teacher than pain or judgment could ever be.
Just think about the quality of the feeling. Growing from joy versus growing from guilt or self-criticism. One feels expansive, uplifting. It inspires you. The other feels heavy, constricting. It makes every step feel like effort, like pushing against something. Change happens, yes, but it comes from love calling you forward, not from hating where you are. It's an invitation to become more, not a punishment for not being enough.
So the real shift is realizing that joy isn't about being complacent or lazy. Joy is clarity. And when you're clear, inspired action just happens. It flows naturally. It doesn't come from beating yourself up. It comes from seeing the path forward peacefully.
Okay, so let's make this practical. Maybe we can outline a few steps.
Good idea. Step 1 could simply be pause. Just pause and acknowledge what's happening. Silently, you might say to yourself, okay, I'm interpreting this situation through fear right now.
Right.
That little moment of awareness is huge. It creates a gap. It disrupts that automatic habit of piling fear on top of fear. It's not about judging the fear, just noticing its lens.
Step 2, gently inquire within. Ask yourself something like, what if this interpretation isn't the whole truth? What if I don't have to believe this story about the pain right now? And again, you're not denying the sensation or the emotion. You're just questioning the meaning you've automatically attached to it. You're opening the door for a different perspective.
Step 3. Recall the core idea. Bring today's lesson to mind. Pain is not a thought of God. His will is joy. You can just repeat that quietly. Let it be an anchor, gently guiding your mind back toward truth, even when discomfort is pulling you. That's a redirection.
Step 4. This is the active part. Choose again. You can phrase it internally, maybe like a quiet request. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. I am willing to choose the joy of God instead of this pain. Even the tiniest spark of willingness to see it another way. That's enough. That willingness is the key that turns the lock.
And finally, step 5. Allow joy to show up however it does. Don't expect fireworks or some huge emotional waves necessarily. Just allow it. Allow it to emerge as your underlying nature, which is always there, just sometimes hidden by the clouds of fear. Just let it be what it is.
And please remember, this is a practice. It's ongoing. Don't pressure yourself or grade yourself. Just keep practicing the choice gently and consistently. You're essentially retraining your mind, patiently moving it from seeing through fear to seeing through love, from illusion to truth.
Thank you so much for exploring this with us today.
Yes, thank you. And wherever you find yourself right now, feeling light, feeling heavy, feeling sure, feeling confused, please know this. Joy isn't some far-off destination you have to earn. It's right here.
And every single time you make that choice, even in a tiny way, you remember a little more of who you really are. That is the practice.
Yeah.
That is the path the Course offers.
So maybe take that gentle understanding into your day. Let it softly influence how you see other people, how you talk to yourself, how you move through whatever comes up.
We'll be here with you again tomorrow as we continue with Lesson 211.
For today, choose joy. You truly deserve it, not because you've suffered enough to earn it, but simply because suffering was never required in the first place.
And please do send us your questions, your comments, your stories. We really value hearing from you.